Epicenter with me, Maria Shakil. 4 days have passed since the release of the Kerala Story, a movie that tells the tale of 4 women who were trapped and trafficked to the ISIS terror group. The movie claims that 32,000 women in Kerala were lured and converted to Islam to be recruited by ISIS, claiming the virus of radicalism is spreading unchecked in the state. While the Congress and the left have called the movie brazen propaganda to defame Kerala, it has been banned in West Bengal and called a threat to law and order. In Tamil Nadu, many multiplexes have refused to screen the movie. However, the film continues to perform well at the box office, nearing the 50 crore mark in just 4 days. In fact, as the BJP puts its weight behind the film, with top union ministers attending screenings, the film has also been granted tax-free status in Uttar Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. But now criticism is turning to vitriol. NCP leader Jitendra Awad made a stunning statement saying the filmmakers should be hanged for defaming the women of Kerala. He later told CNN News18 that it was an outburst, but called the movie seditious and against the integrity of India. Meanwhile, the battle has also reached the Supreme Court, where producer Vipul Shah has moved the top court against the West Bengal ban. But one cannot deny that people are going to the theatres and paying money to watch this film. Can the political opposition to this movie justify a ban based on arbitrary law and order situation or concerns? Moreover, given the success of this movie and support from the BJP, is criticism now turning to vitriol and direct threats against the filmmakers?
के लोग इसको देखें और समझें कि हिंदुस्तान के दूसरे भूभाग में किस ढंग से हमारी बहनों के साथ अत्याचार अनाचार हो रहा है, दुर्व्यवहार हो रहा है, और सतर्कता बढ़ते हुए अपने परिवार को, अपने संस्कारों को, अपने बच्चों को संभालें।
Be it an election in the state or central election, they become more proactive in playing this religion card and divisive politics. Especially when the Karnataka election is about to be taken place.
We are not ready to show the reality. When a filmmaker comes out and says that 32 women have gone, and then comes on like a shameless fellow says that it is only 3. The controversy which has been created has created hatred, and that is what we all are facing.
I wonder whether she's got the chance or the time to see the film. I am surprised with this reason given, because the theatres are running house full. People are watching the film in big numbers.
I think it is a politically motivated, misguided decision. I request Mamata Didi that please watch the film and decide for yourself that whether this film is may pose any law and order.
As the storm refuses to die down, we have Vipul Shah, producer of the Kerala Story, joining me on News Epicenter again. And Vani Tripathi is the member of CBFC. She's joining me live from Singapore. Thank you so much to both of you. Vani, I'm coming to you. As a member of the CBFC, can you take up with a state government if they decide to ban a movie? In this case, the government of Bengal.
First, let me put this on record, Maria, that CBFC is a constitutionally constituted body which certifies cinema in India. And we are guided by the Cinematograph Act of 1952, which is also, constituted by the constitution of the country. So the first question that arises is, if CBFC has certified a film, then what is the state government's, prerogative, or what is the reason for doing this, number one? Number two, the reasons the Honorable Chief Minister cited is law and order, which is a state subject. Let me say this to you, that since CBFC certifies theatrical releases of films, when somebody goes into a theater, whether 100 or 500 or 1,000, capacity or theater, the person goes with the responsibility taken by the government, the exhibitor, the producer, but the law of the land, the state. We are a federal democracy. That his or her safety will be, the state subject. So I just don't understand that CBFC certified the film. It's running successfully all over the country, and she's giving such a strange reason. If there is an agenda behind it, then she should have the courage to also come out with the agenda. Because, whatever her statement is, has not just left me baffled, but also has left the board baffled, which works tirelessly to certify films. Do we look like people who are irresponsible when we've already certified the film and it's running successfully all over the country? There is some kind of a nefarious design and a nefarious agenda to this. And I think in a democracy, this is the most undemocratic thing to do.
Okay, so since you have declared it undemocratic and you are also a member of CBFC, Vani, let me bring in the producer here. Vipul Shah, 50 crore is what the film has already made since its release on Friday. There are two states, that is Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh, which have declared that this movie will be tax-free. But the criticism is only growing. The filmmaker has received death threat, you heard from Mr. Sudipto. And there are also likes of Jitendra Awad, who says that they should be hanged for defaming the women of Kerala.
Okay, let me answer because I have any questions in this one question. There is no death threat to me or any of my team members here. Yes, precaution is very, very important, and we are cautious, and we are taking all necessary steps if there is any such situation. But as of now, we are not under any kind of threat.
Okay.
As far as Mr. Awad's comment is concerned, I find it hilarious because he's a lawmaker himself and he knows how law operates. And I'm sure he doesn't mean literally that I should be hanged, right? It's just a political statement. So that's perfectly fine.
So you don't see that as a provocation to his party men?
Sorry, provocation.
Yes.
I don't think that even his party men are, going to really get provoked and say, okay, let's hang Vipul in the, in public. That's not going to happen. So we all know that's just a political statement for effect. There is no merit to it. So it's okay. Fine. I leave it at that. The most important issue for me is that how many people have seen 50 crore amounts to how many people. If the number of people is in excess of 4 million people having seen the film in 4 days, that is just the beginning of the mission that we all had started. We kept saying that we want this issue to become a national issue. We want every family and every girl to see this film and that discuss this issue in depth nationally. And I think in these 4 days, one thing is very clear. With the love, with the emotional connect of the audience to this film, they are going to tell everybody and they are going to send many more people inside the theater. And this subject now cannot be taken lightly. So I think the weekend and the first 4 days has given us that confidence that at least the subject has become a national subject now. So one part of it is done. And yes, the trade has called this film already an all-time blockbuster film. And the trade is hailing it. So it's a great situation. And that we are receiving from the audience who are seeing it on social media, personally on our WhatsApps, to everywhere. People are saying this is the best film they have seen in their whole life. This film has changed their life. It's made such an impact on so many people. You see the videos of the women coming out of the theater and crying. You see the chants that are going on. I heard in one of the shows, there was a chant ke Shalini tum aage badho, hum tumhare saath hai. There was another show where they said Shalini tum badla leke raho, होगी. Now this kind of emotion and this kind of connect with the character and the film and the story, I think that is huge. So I don't want to get lost into the
I'll ask you,
political
Vipul,
debate.
a question particularly on what does it
really
mean for the
focus on
Bollywood. But
people.
before that, I'll take a quick word also from Vani. Vani, you know, there is a charge that this film, and this is coming from, you know, critics who say that this film is propaganda, and that this claim that has been made by the filmmakers, 32,000, is actually exaggerated number, something that the CBFC should have perhaps ensured in the cuts that you were suggesting. So the question has been raised on the functioning of the board as well.
I cannot let out what all must have transpired between Vipulji as a producer and the CBFC. But let me tell you, under the guidelines under which we function, the Cinematograph Act of 1952, 5 things are non-negotiable. One is, if a film will create communal violence or will raise communal temper in the country, national security, if anything which becomes detrimental to peace and harmony and creates societal disturbance, and if it is something which is nefarious in its agenda. So let me say this to you, that the most democratic process of certification is followed in CBFC, Maria, to begin with. Also, the question arises that all kinds of cinema, whether it's on the left or the right or the center political divide of the country, gets made and it gets certified. You must remember how many controversial films the board has faced in the past few years and how tremendous hard work has happened that, you know, those films have harmoniously gone to the people and we certified it. My extreme disappointment is towards this, that on one hand, we scream freedom of speech, we scream free speech, we scream creative freedom in this country. And on another hand, when a board tirelessly works, let me say this to you, this is the first time that there is a CBFC board which has only and only artists, film actors, theatre people, writers, directors, and so on. So now the industry cannot say that it is not represented well. So the disappointment is a sheer hard work that goes into certifying thousands of films gets completely undone when in a federal democracy like ours, one state gets up and does something so undemocratic, which means there is no faith in the constitutional propriety of institutions of this country. I would rather put a challenge back. You don't have faith in CBFC? This is a question I asked tonight on your show as far as the Honorable Chief Minister of the state which has banned the film is. On one hand, you constantly say the only way forward is certification when a theatrical release is done, when public exhibition of cinema is required. On another hand, you actually do this, which is so undemocratic, which is against the basic tenets of democracy of our country.
So that's
I'm just saying,
that's a question that has been asked to Mamata
as a board
Banerjee.
member.
Yes.
We for so many years, Maria, have been the beacon of hope for creative filmmakers in this country. If we take a step back, what will happen? And this is a sheer anarchic step that the state government has taken. It should not be pardoned.
Vipul Shah, last question to you. You know, for the longest time, particularly in the last few years, there was a lot of existential question that the Bollywood faced because the films down south were doing so well. They were box office hits. They were making so much money. RRR, Pushpa, so many of them. And it was seen as Bollywood not able to get the pulse of the people right. Then you have cinema such as yours, you know, Kashmir Files, even, you know, the biggest hit of all times, recently Pathan. So do you think there has been a disconnect between the Bollywood producers, directors and the society at large? And that is the reason why those films did not get response and you are getting one?
I think all films are very different from one another. So comparison may not be a possibility here, because how do you compare a Pathan and the Kerala story? There is no way of comparing the two. But having said that, I think audience is extremely clear that they will support a film, even if that film is not a very big budget extravaganza, if it has got a subject which is absolutely essential, something that they are going to, connect with, and they are going to find some new facts about our society, something that will compel them to leave the comfort of their home and come to the cinema hall. I think unless and until your film is compelling, they are not going to come. Any amount of controversy or anything, the film can only open for day 1, and day 2 onwards it will die. That's how people are today, because social media is so quick in spreading good or bad word. In this case, the film is just growing day by day. Instead of slowing down, it's becoming bigger by the day. Because if you go to the social media and if you ask anybody who's seen the film, they will tell you that this is an absolute gem of a film. It has emotionally connected with them, and they are overwhelmed with the kind of emotion the film, emotional effect the film has on them. And I think that is the reason people are coming to see this film in theater. I don't think any film can only survive on some amount of controversy or some amount of debate. It will have to go beyond it to become a genuine long-term hit. I think that is great. And I think it's a great relief for all of us that a film has shown this, the Kerala story has shown that audience is willing to come to the theater. Just give them the right content. This time we were lucky. We got it right. We worked very, very, very hard to get it right. And we are only glad that audience has validated us.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. Vipul Shah, Vani Tripathi, pleasure to speak to you. There's a piece of breaking news.